everyone! In today's video we are going to be talking about the brands that I want to try in 2020, and this is a video that I always look forward to. I did make one last year as well. I don't think I did it in December, but I definitely did a video like that. And this year it's going to be all new brands that I haven't tried before, and I feel like I've discovered so many brands in the past year that I always have new brands that I want to try. This video is also a collab with one of my best friends on YouTube. Her name is Betty Jean. If you are not already following Beautbean's channel, I will of course have her linked up in the corner as well as down in my description box. She is amazing. I mean, she is the queen of 3 looks 1 palette, so if you guys are wanting to see multiple looks with all of the palettes that she gets, she always does that. And I don't know, I love her so much. I feel like we would get along so well. I mean, she is just so chill and I really love that about her. You know, when there's just some people that are just a little bit too high energy, and I feel like she's like the perfect amount of energy so that it's not exhausting to watch, but it's also not boring. Does that make sense? I love her so much, and you guys better go check her out. I mean, if you don't, I'm gonna be really mad. I think we should just jump into this. I do have 11 brands on my list that I would love to try next year. None of these brands I have tried before, but spoiler alert, I have made an order from some of these brands, and my order still hasn't come, but I did make some Black Friday orders, so I'm pretty excited about that. So let's just move into my list now. So the first brand on my list, these are in no particular order, it's just kind of how I found them and how I remember them, but the first brand on my list is Emme Cosmetics. Emme has been sneak peeking some absolutely beautiful single shadows lately, and I am just like over here drooling because I would love to try them. And there's been so many times where I've like been scrolling on Instagram and I see some posts, and what always like stands out to me is the way that their imprints in the shadows are, because they're not like anything else that I've ever seen, and it just like stands out, you know, when there's just like something that makes a brand kind of special. I feel like that's with them. So I really want to make an order from them, and I also honestly want to focus a lot more on my single shadows in the next year. Like, I know I keep complaining that my single shadow videos never get any views, but like I still want to get use out of them, and I think that if I'm going to focus on one thing that I know isn't going to get any views, it might as well be my single shadows. So I think I'm gonna have like some kind of a series going next year where I do use my single shadows like on a very regular basis. So I'm gonna try to come up with some ideas and, you know, ways to do that. And so I'm pretty sure that a lot of these brands are going to be brands that have single shadows, because I really love single shadows, and I feel like I have a good collection going now, and now I'm just looking to add special and unique things to my collection and also fill the gaps that I don't feel like I have already. So Emme is definitely on my radar of brands that I would like to try next year. The next brand is a brand that I'm very unsure of whether or not they're going to come out with something that's going to really intrigue me enough to try the brand, but this is Nabla. Nabla has been, I don't know, I feel like everyone kind of talks about Nabla and everybody really likes the brand, but for me, I really haven't been that intrigued by like any of their releases. And what bothers me the most about the brand, I wouldn't say bother, but it's such like a little pet peeve of mine, is that every time they sneak peek a palette, the outside of the palette looks so amazing, and every time you get to see the inside, it's just like, really? Like, you could have done so much more with that. Like, I just get so disappointed every time. So now when I see the sneak peek a palette, I'm like, it's not gonna be that good anyway, because like I always get disappointed on the inside of the palettes. But I've heard from like everybody basically that their quality is great, and also their single shadows are great. But I think just with the way that, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I am not their target audience. Like, I feel like they go more towards people who use a little bit less intense and dramatic makeup. So maybe they won't come out with something next year that I want to try. Maybe they will, but I'm mostly talking about like eyeshadows here, obviously, because that is my true love and that's mostly what my channel is about. But if there is like other things on the list from the brands that I want to try, I will for sure mention it. But other than that, like, it's mostly going to be eyeshadow wise, because that's just me, you know? So I definitely do want to try Nabla at some point. I just hope that they come out with something that I'm really going to be intrigued by and that I'm going to want to try. So the third brand on my list is a brand that I have made an order from already, and I think the order shipped today, and I'm so excited. Today when I'm filming this is the 2nd, so I'm like way pre-filming this, but this is Adept Cosmetics. I actually did a poll on my Instagram a little while back asking if you guys wanted me to review Adept, and a lot of you said no, and I was like, but I want to get them anyway, so I just bought them. Basically, they are the ones that had the magnetic palettes, and they were very like famous for that. That was the only thing that they sold, and then they expanded into making single shadows. So I made an order and they look beautiful, and I can't wait, and I got a lot of colors that I feel like I don't really have in my collection already, so I'm really excited. I feel like that video might even be going up before this one is going up, so I really don't know, you guys. December is like such a blur for me already, so if that happens, just know that I filmed this before I actually got that package. So it is a brand that I want to try. It's a brand that I'm going to try. It's probably not even going to be next year. It's going to be most likely this year if I get time to, you know, put it into my busy schedule right now, but I thought I would put it on the list anyway because we are, you know, in December and I am filming this video and I still haven't tried the brand, so I thought it would be fitting to just put it into this video still. Next up is a brand that I feel like has gotten a lot of hype lately, and they've also had like a very successful release, and I know that Amy Loves Makeup has been talking about them. I think that Angelica has mentioned them as well, and this is Terra Cosmetics. They just came out with some what looked to be kind of like duochromy, very light, like inner corner, topper kind of shades in singles, and they looked beautiful, but that is something that I just feel like I won't use enough. I don't know, like for some reason, like those kind of colors as singles in a collection don't really speak to me. Like that's the kind of thing that I feel like I pick up like one here and there, but I'm not gonna buy like a whole collection of something like that, and I don't even know why. Like I feel like that would be something that I would absolutely love, but I also think that maybe it's because I'm more intrigued by like colored highlight or colored inner corner highlights, like very colored light shadows rather than like the kind of sheer toppery duochrome shadows. Don't get me wrong, like I love those as well, but if like I had to choose, I would probably go for the others. So I don't know, but it is a brand that I'm definitely keeping my eyes on, and from what I have heard, their last release was a hit and they did a really good job with that. So I'm very intrigued to see what they come out with next year, and I feel like I'm probably going to make an order from them. It's not going to be from probably their current collection. I'm probably going to wait and see if they come out with like, you know, an interesting launch so I can review. So I'm really excited. Like that is a brand that really excites me that I've yet to try. Let's talk about a brand that has been on my radar for so long. I don't know why I haven't pulled the trigger on these. This is again a brand that has single shadows. I feel like the reason why I mostly have brands that have single shadows is because those are the ones that are like popping up, and I feel like new brands will usually start with single shadows before they like venture into doing other things. So a lot of these brands are like very small. I don't know how big this brand is. They have 13,000 followers on Instagram, which is not really a lot, but this is Kristen Leigh Cosmetics. They have some of the most beautiful like duochrome multi-chrome shadows. They also have like those multi-chrome flakes that I used in one of my videos earlier this month, and I just love them so much. And every time I see a picture of them on my Instagram, I always go, ooh, what is that? Oh, it's Kristen Leigh. Like there's something about the brand that just every time I see something from them, I'm like, oh, that's pretty. Like, oh, I want that. Like, what is that, you know? Like, I'm just like, I'm so there for everything they come out with. So I feel like I'm definitely going to make an order with them like at some point next year. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Let me know if you've tried any of the brands that I'm talking about and what your favorite product from the brand is and whether or not you think I should pick it up, because like I said, I'm very willing to probably give all of these brands a try in the next year, assuming they come out with something that I'm interested in or already have something that you guys say is really, really good that you think I might like. So do let me know. The next brand on my list is also a brand that has been on my radar for so long, and this is Enchanted Lustre Cosmetics. I have such a hard time saying that. Enchanted Lustre Cosmetics. This is an Australian indie brand. They also make single shadows. They are all hand pressed. They all look beautiful. And I've pretty much already decided that I'm going to make an order from them when I go to Australia in January, because we're going to be staying at an Airbnb for about 3 weeks, so that'll be plenty of time to make an order and have them ship it to my Airbnb, so I don't have to pay for all that shipping, because that is the main reason why I haven't ordered, because shipping is just so expensive. And trust me when I say I get it with you guys who are living outside of the States and you complain about shipping all the time. I get it, because I used to live in Norway for 20 years and I know exactly what you mean, and it sucks to order online. So I'm gonna wait until I go to Australia and then I'm going to make an order with them. So excited. I've talked to the owner a few times. She seems really, really sweet, and she's actually having a baby in January, because I asked if she wanted to like meet up for coffee or something, and she was like, I don't know when I'm gonna be in labor, so like don't worry about it. But yeah, I hope she has a safe pregnancy and that everything goes well with the birth and everything like that. Don't you worry about me, but I'll make an order with you. I'm really excited. I don't know, I'm talking to her like she's going to watch this. Maybe she will. I don't know. If you are, I can't wait to try your shadows. Anyway, that's the next brand that I would like to try next year. I also would love, 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 love to try Mavie Cosmetics. I think that's how you say it. it can't really be any other way, right? My friend Katie Marie on here has such amazing things to say about the brand, and she really loves their formula. I will of course have like all the channels and names that I mentioned linked in my description box if you want to go check them out. But yeah, she has said so many good things about the brand, and their palettes look really nice. I love the fact that they have very small like 9-pan palettes and that they all have kind of like a theme to them, but their color stories just hasn't really like drawn me in yet, and that's what I look for in an eyeshadow palette. Like, if I don't see an eyeshadow palette and immediately go, oh, like I want that, like I'm just not going to buy it. Like I'm not gonna buy an eyeshadow palette that I have to talk myself into buying. Like if I don't know straight away when I see something being released that I'm going to want it, I probably don't want it badly enough. So I am very picky when it comes to my eyeshadow palettes, and that's probably why a lot of you guys have been asking like, do you have this palette, do you have that palette, like why don't you have this palette? It's because I'm just very picky. Like I know what I like, and I really try not to buy something just, you know, for review purposes, because if I'm not excited about the palette that I'm reviewing, it's going to show. And I also feel like I'm not going to give the palette as good of a review as maybe it deserves, just because I don't love the color story as much. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but I hope I am. But that is definitely a brand that I'm keeping my eyes on, because if they do come out with something that is up my alley, I'm definitely going to jump on that, because I've heard nothing but good things. Now let's talk about another brand that I've already made an order from, and I made an order from them on Black Friday because they were having a big launch and they were coming out with an eyeshadow palette, actually a big collection, but the only eyeshadow palette that really spoke to me was the Sourlicious palette, and the brand that I'm talking about is Bombshell Cosmetica. I had to look down to make sure that was the brand. Bombshell Cosmetica is a brand that has come out with a lot of things in the past that I've really been intrigued by, and I don't know why I haven't pulled the trigger. Sometimes there are just so many things coming out at the same time that I simply just, I don't want to buy everything because it's going to be too overwhelming. And usually if I have like 2 or 3 palettes that I have yet to film with and stuff, and I know I need to get through those, like sometimes I will pass on some launches that I really want just to make sure that things don't get out of hand and that I'm able to keep up with everything. So I think that's what happened like the last couple of times they did have a launch that I was interested in, but I definitely jumped on this one because it looked absolutely amazing and like so up my alley. Let me know if you tried anything from Bombshell. I know they've been a pretty big like Instagram brand in the past year, so I wouldn't be surprised at all if any of you guys had something to say about the brand. I've heard like so reviews on it. Some seem to really love it, some seem to be like on the fence about it, but I'm really excited, and I think that just with the color story alone and like the theme of the palette is supposed to smell like sweets, which is like me. So I'm really excited about that palette and I can't wait to try the brand. Next up we have another brand that mostly specializes in single shadows, and this is Touch of Glam Beauty. This is another brand where every time I see like a post from them on my Instagram and I don't realize that it's from them, I always kind of go, ooh, like that's cute, that's cool, I want that. So every time that happens, it means that I should probably make an order with them, because I obviously going to like the stuff that they have because I like the look of it, and everything just looks beautiful, and they have so many beautiful single shadows and just like the whole aesthetic of the brand. They also do follow me on Instagram, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm definitely going to make an order from Touch of Glam. I can't wait. It's definitely a brand that has been on my radar now for a very long time. Next up is another Instagram brand. I feel like all of these brands are like social media brands, but it's just because I really enjoy following very small brands on Instagram, and I like to see, you know, what the smaller brands are like cooking up and coming out with. And this is Alien Cosmetics. Not only do they have like the best name, I mean Alien Cosmetics, like come on, like that is so cool. And they do come out with some eyeshadow palettes, which I love eyeshadow palettes, but none of the ones they've come out with yet has really been like the perfect palette for me. So I'm still waiting for that perfect release, and I'm not sure if they have single shadows, so I'm trying to like look on their website. I feel like they have like some pigments and stuff, but I don't think they have single shadows from what I can see. I know they have like some loose shadows, but I'm not really interested in that. So I'm just gonna wait for that perfect palette to come along, and then I'm going to snag it up because I want me some Alien Cosmetics. And lastly, this is a brand that I feel like I literally found last week, and I don't know why I wasn't following them, because they have 391,000 followers on Instagram, and this is Chaos Makeup. They have a lot of like really beautiful multichromes, and they have pressed multichromes as well, which not a lot of brands have that, and that makes me very excited. I'm like scrolling through their Instagram now, I'm like, I want that. Can't wait to see what they come out with next year. I think that is one of the brands that are like the highest on my list of brands that I want to make an order with, I don't really know. I think it's just going to depend on like what brands end up coming out with, because I do try to not buy like older launches because I do want them to be like good for review purposes, but I'm totally willing to make like single shadow orders that aren't new, if that makes sense. It's just like palette wise, if someone's gonna come out with a palette, I try to wait for like a new release, whereas if it's something that isn't really reviewed anyway, like single shadows, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what they come out with next year, and that could be said for like all the brands that I just mentioned, obviously. So let me know which brands you guys would like to see me review next year. Also, if there's any brands that I haven't mentioned, do let me know down below. And also just make sure that it's not brands that only sell loose pigments, because I'm just not really interested in that. I've had a lot of you know, recommend brands to me, and then I look on their page and it's just like loose pigments. So if you know of any brands that I haven't mentioned that have like exciting releases that you think I would like, that is like eyeshadow based, do let me know and I will absolutely look them up and see what I can do. So those were all of the brands that I want to try next year. I can't wait to see what Betty Jean has chosen, so I'm definitely going to be watching that video as soon as it goes up. And if you guys are still here watching my video, please go ahead and check out her video after. And if you came over from Betty Jean's channel, thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. And so yeah, if you want to see some other collabs maybe that I've done, I'll pop a few up on the screen. And if you're new to my channel, I would love it if you would stick around and consider subscribing, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.